Hey, what's up, guys? How's it going? Today we're gonna go over how to draw Subzero from the Mortal Kombat X games. I'm granted there's, you know, I know that he shares obviously design stuff with Scorpion, obviously, and it's mostly just the color change. But there's a few differences in the outfit. You know, a lot of their standard outfits. You know, I know they got kind of the hoodie thing going on now, but this is just one of Sub-Zero's other, one of his main outfits. And it does differ from the Scorpion that I just drew. So, the one I drew in on the earlier video, another video. So, I think it's worth kind of going over. So, anyways, I'm going to be using a Nero medium. It's kind of faded out. I can't even really see it. I got this from the art store. The equivalent to this would be just a black colored pencil. That's what I really like using as well. Black colored pencils are really cool too. I don't know why. They're cool. It doesn't have that shininess that graphite does. I like graphite as well, but not as much. It's not great for like finished stuff, but I guess you can definitely make graphite work, obviously. So we're getting in here with a head shape really quickly. I want to see if that's appearing on the screen there. And I'm using most of the side of my pencil. The side of my pencil is so that it won't dig into the paper and it won't be super hard to erase and move stuff around if I need to. So anyway, that's the reasoning for that. I'm laying in the shapes here, again, using the side. I'm thinking of this kind of almost goggles shape, which is kind of the... I'm thinking of stuff within shapes, right? He's got a mask covering his entire head, pretty much. And the only thing that's kind of revealed is his eyes. So that shape where the eyes comes out has to be pretty, distinct, memorable kind of thing. His mask comes out the front. I guess he was originally based on a ninja. I guess he originally was. I guess he's still a ninja, right? He's a Lin Kuei, right? Clan? I forgot. And I'm putting this stuff with the side. Hopefully you can kind of see it. Using the side still. Because what I want to do is I want to get the proportion down without having to erase massive stuff. That's why you don't push super hard on your pencil when you first draw. At least when you first lay things in like this, you're laying it in. You're trying to, get the proportion worked out before you commit. Because as soon as you commit, you're probably not gonna. I mean, you can change it, but it's gonna be kind of a pain to change it. Back of the neck, he doesn't have much of a kind of. Normally, when you don't have a mask on like that, you have this kind of the back of the skull, and then the back of the neck goes inward a little bit. He doesn't really have that. I mean, plus he's probably got like a muscular dude, like everybody is in these games. So. And this is kind of the stitching on the side where that would be, but where that stitching is more of a kind of a design element. Still going really light, still not committing a thing right now. Subzero also has the whole no eyes thing in most of his looks now, because I think it just looks, I'm assuming is because it looks cool. He's got that icy kind of stare kind of thing. He used to have, you could see more of his pupils and stuff, but he doesn't really have that, at least from the stuff I've seen in this game. Going in with his side here as well. Again, you can kind of visualize the stuff in your head as you're doing it almost. Want to go up, make sure everything's still on camera. Yeah. All right. Mask connects right here, like to the back of the head. Alright. Put more stuff in there, trying to get the eyes worked out. A lot of the eyes is really just from regular portrait drawing, which is kind of like, again, the kind of thing I'm doing right now. It is like I'm doing a portrait of this character. Side. Still trying to work some elements out. The front of his mask is kind of this more of a ball, whereas his Scorpion's was more like a angular, at least in this particular outfit. And there's a whole lot you can do these designs, especially if you see him through the years. The one I really liked, I think, was his. He looked kind of like a Viking or something. I think Subzero. I think it was Mortal Kombat 4 or 5 or something. I forget. 5? I forget which game, but he looked kind of Viking-like. He had this bizarre outfit. Or more like royalty or like medieval knight. I thought that was really sick. I mean, I know it's more influenced by samurais, but it reminded me more of like a medieval knight. But I thought that was a really cool outfit. I think Joe Mad did a really awesome picture of that. Alright. So, see how you can kind of just vaguely see him? That's kind of where I'm at. Like, now I can see... It's almost like you're cheating. You're helping yourself cheat, you know? There's nothing wrong with that. You're helping yourself cheat. Doesn't make any sense, you know? So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to commit. I'm going to go a little bit darker, and I'm going to push darker, especially around the eyes. Going more on the tip of my pencil. Connecting the eyebrow to the eye here. Alright. I'm going to put it kind of furrowed. Those guys always look better angry. I don't know why. It just looks cooler angry. They're mad. Not too angry, though. I'm not even going to draw him very angry. I always thought Subzero was a nice guy, even though Subzero, murdered Scorpion's family. Yeah, I guess maybe he's not a nice guy. But under order, though? I forget. They change the story back and forth depending on what version you watch. I mean, it's all generally the same story, but I think they kind of... I don't know. They throw different parts of it. Like, sometimes they make him... sometimes I've seen stuff where they make Scorpion seem like a very sympathetic character. And then sometimes Scorpion seems like this monster kind of thing. Throw in darker lines there. Wraps around here. Taking into account this design here, which also where the head kind of goes up and around. It goes like the side. That's the side of his head. This is the kind of top front of his head. You know, that plane is changing. And then we're gonna move in here, and a lot of this, as opposed to doing it with line art, is that we're doing this with shadow. You know what I mean? When you're doing this with shadow, it changes kind of the whole dynamic of it. And you know, you could, because we're pushing. I'm kind of thinking of three. I'm thinking of a couple of them. They're more like linear and shadow at the same time. But you know, I did kind of remove proportion by putting it like this. You know, by doing it like this. Because if you work on an illustration, sometimes there's different ways to work, right? Sometimes what I do is I usually throw in all line art, and then I start shading. But since this is a more fine art way to draw, you're kind of balancing two things. You're trying to balance the kind of tonality of it and some parts of the structure, some parts of the detail. See, like this guy, I'm gonna make it so like the light is hitting him on this side, and so the shadow is gonna be on this side over here. And these guys all look good in shadow, clearly, because every shot I've seen from this game has been them in shadow. You know, they're trying to make it almost like film noir-y, I noticed. Continuing, let me go into the other eye. I'm gonna throw something here toward the middle. I know that's the middle of his head. I'm gonna throw kind of a value over that. Just a light value. I'm also trying to control values. That's something to really consciously think about as you're doing this. It's a balancing act, you know, but it can be a very easy, not easy. I guess it can become easy for sure as you kind of do this more and more. You've seen certain angles over and over, so it can be very, it can be easy for sure. Like, I think the easiness comes from the fact that it's fun, you know. When something is fun, or you want to do it, and so it's kind of more rewarding. Yeah, and even an arduous, is am I using that word? Arduous tasks can be relatively, like, enjoyable. I would say maybe not easy, but very enjoyable. You're enjoying the process. And that's kind of what you should do. I think somebody, I was on a Twitch yesterday. I tried it out for the first time. And I announced it here, and I already took down the announcement. But with the Twitch, I think what happened was, what did happen? Oh, somebody asked me, how do you slow down? You know, like, if you're going too fast, how do you slow down? Like, he just has he just zooms through everything. And I would say, I didn't think about it then, but I would say enjoy the process. Become very, very enjoying of the process. Not so much like you're trying to get the result, you know, which I know, I guess, is kind of a goal as well. But enjoy the process of doing it, you know. You have to enjoy the process of it. Learn to like what you liked about it probably when you first got into it, you know. Because that really helps, you know. It's therapeutic. You know what I mean? Just chillax. You know, chillax. Oh, also, I forgot to tell. Somebody asked about this. Because I haven't talked about it in a long time. I'm gonna take like a little thing. Oh, actually, no. I'll talk about it next video. Forget about it. There was something else, but I was gonna forget about it. I'll talk about it next video. I'm gonna throw this shot almost entirely in shadow because that's kind of, you know, a good idea. Everything has to be consistent because the light's coming from this side. Kind of a light, not too dark. You know what I mean? Not too dark, but dark enough. Dark enough, and then we're gonna start dividing the shadow in a bit here. But for now, we're just mostly the same value, not entirely, but as you can see, I'm trying to separate some stuff here. This is like, I wouldn't say this is the part where you kind of calm down, because there's definitely, like, and I talked about this before, this is a part where it just starts to become a huge mess, you know, and you start freaking out. And you're like, how the hell am I going to clean this up? And that's just a part of the game. You just learn to chill out during, and then, you know, it could work out, you know, if you just try to just kind of realize it's going to work out in the end, you know. Most likely it'll work out, you know. If you calm down, it'll work out, you know. So there's little latches in the back of his mask. He has a few. They're pretty just straight up squares. They're also on the light side, so I have to kind of be careful of that. There's something I'm about to do right now, and that's the same thing I did with Scorpion, and that is that he is wearing a black material over his head. So I'm gonna have to make it very apparent that that's a black material. The only way to do that is to throw a light value over this entire left side here. Throwing it lightly. Now, I wouldn't say yeah, it kind of matches that right now. It's probably gonna match that. But then we'll darken the other side. Like the process. The process. Alrighty. And I'm darkening that a little bit. I'm starting with that. I'm going to start darkening this whole section over here on this side. I should actually put this in the shadow. I don't know why that's sticking out. Rub a little bit with my finger, just a little bit. He's got a design on the front of his mask. I'll just start pulling that out more and more as as we get in there. Sharpening the edge of his mask just a little bit. Don't go right on the tip. I don't think I've been, well, yeah, I guess like over here there's some lines, but I haven't been trying to push the line very hard through the whole thing, so. Bum, 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 bum. Oh, but anywho, about the Twitch, I haven't really. I'm gonna probably do that again. I was just an experiment yesterday, so I put up an announcement really quick, and then I took it down after I was done. If you guys want to watch, I'm gonna try to do that next week again. This time I'm gonna announce it like a day or two before, and but if you guys want to add me to Twitch already, I think I can. If I remember to link it, I'll link it. But my username over there is sketch_monster. And then the number 1. So sketch_monster1. That's what I'm on Twitch. And I'm going to try to do those live streams every now and then. Just to answer questions and, essentially I just sit there with my buddy Lyndon or, I mean, I'm going to bring other people in there. I essentially just sit there and we just talk about art and we take questions. That's pretty much it, It's just a conversation. I guess it's a way to connect with people or people maybe better know me, like how I really am. I guess I am like this, but, But yeah, just to know a little bit more about kind of what we do over here in life. I don't know. But yeah, that's what that's going to be. So I'm excited. I'm excited. I am actually really excited. I got another mic for the person that's with me. Whoever that may be. If it's going to be Lyndon or if it's going to be Lyndon and another person, Kind of like a podcast format. We'll see. I actually really, it's one of those things where like it's very open. I'm like, wow, I'm excited. I'm excited to see what I can do, later. Like can I do, I don't know, themed ones or something like that. Trying to refine this design a little bit here on the front of his face. Just a little bit. I'm going to darken this up over here on this side. Let me see. Now I'm going to throw more shadow pattern on this side of his body. Another thing that looks really nice, and I do this a lot in illustrations, is rim lighting. And I don't know if we've talked about rim lighting. I think we might have. So rim lighting you see all over the place because it looks really cool. And I think you can probably guess what it is. Just from the sound of it. Rim lighting is where, let's say you got rim lighting, let me see how to describe it. So let's say that this side, let's say this side's going to be all in value right here. That's not really value. Anywho, okay, rim lighting is basically light, like this little trim of light on the side of a character. So with this guy, with Subzero, maybe put like a thin rim of light all the way down, you know what I mean? Does that make sense? Like a rim of light. And that's something that tons of guys do. Like one of my favorite artists, Dave Raposa, he does that. Tons of guys do that. Because it looks cool, it looks really, really cool. I'm going to try to do it here. So what I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna have to speed it up, guys, because this video is gonna be too long. I'm gonna speed it up, and then I'm gonna talk about it afterward. Okay? So here I go. Okay, so I kind of just tried to refine some lines around here on the edges. Not so much the line, but kind of where values end and start and things like that. I don't want to throw a big thick line around this either, because I'm really tempted to do that. I do that a lot, you know. I do that more with my line art, you know. I'll throw a big thick line around it, and it could help, but I don't want to do it right now. I want to keep it as fine arty as I can. So I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to throw this little gradation value over here, like behind him. I might actually even push it harder, because we're talking about shadows within shadows. Put like an accent point there, and then gradate from that to show that that's you know, the edge of him. And I might do that again over here, because that's his eyes. His eyes are a very big focal point. I want to keep his eyes totally as light as I can, because that's usually, and I'm going to show you this, and I talked about this before. Usually the focal point comes from the highest form of where the darkest dark touches the lightest light. The darkest dark touches the lightest light. That's usually the focal point. Usually, not always, or it has to do with where it's more focused. You know, there's a lot of ways to do that. You know, a lot of directional things and things like that. I'm trying to make the eyes the focal point. I want those, if you squint, I want that to be dark, that to be dark, maybe that to be dark as well. You know, you talk about these accent points of dark, you know, and a lot of that is decision making, you know what I mean? There's no, I mean, I guess there is there's principles, right? And I've said this a lot in the beginning, there's principles, not rules. There's, you know, this has worked, you know, this has worked in the past, and this is something that people do, but it's not like I have to do it. It's not a rule, you don't have to do it. It's just a strong suggestion that this has worked in the past. So, anyways, that's about it for Subzero. If you have any questions, please post them below. I would, you know, really love some feedback, and I'll let you know about my next Twitch. And also, I forgot to tell you guys, check out the Armadillo. We're still selling these. I haven't really talked about it in a long time. That's why I want to talk about them. The Armadillo is essentially like, this is a dirty one, by the way. This is mine because it's all dirty and old, but you can essentially kind of wrap this around your hand. My buddy has it on him all the time. I have it on me all the time. I have it on my book. You can strap it on a book. And it's made for different size pencils. This one's a little bit bigger because I use this one for markers. But normally a regular pencil should fit in it very well. Anyways, I really hate, you know, talking about this stuff, but I hate doing the sponsorship stuff. But check out those. There's going to be a link at the very end of this. And yeah, that's about it. Thanks a lot, guys, for watching. I appreciate it, and I'll talk to you soon.